Welcome back. The indigenous Native American people of modern-day North and South America believe that they predate any forms of modern religion and culture. Scientists and anthropologists acknowledge that tens of thousands of years ago, their ancestors marched across a giant ice mass connecting modern-day Russia and Alaska. We are joined by two guests here to share more about their native spiritual beliefs. Please welcome Rudy Lazzaro and his sister Cecilia Lazzaro Blasbong, who is a journalist living here in Israel. Hello and welcome to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And how great for you to be in Israel for the first time. Please share your experience and a little bit more about the history of where you came from.
Okay, so my experience in Israel, it has been like really beautiful in terms of visiting my family, first and most.
Talk a little bit about the Lakota, the spiritual beliefs of Lakota, because I know it is, everything is focused on Mother Earth and, even like, bird people, right? You call bird people that are kind of, I guess, what we would refer to as angels. Explain this.
Our belief is that we come from the star people. We are star people by the energy of the sun and the energy of the moon. That's our belief. And then Mother Earth, we call Mother Earth. It's in our native language of Quechua, we call it Pachamama. It's the mother who gives us everything. So based on that belief, I was raised by my mom, and she passed on to me a lot of the teachings of this connection that we have to everything, and that we are related to everything that exists on Earth. So with that having in my heart, I moved to New York and I reconnected to some spiritual beliefs that it's the Lakota people, the Sioux Nation, the Oglala Lakota Sioux. Mm-hmm. They are based in South Dakota, now called the reservation, and a lot of my elders call it the concentration camps, because we have given numbers to a lot of my elders and a lot of my relatives. And there are lack of food and lack of resources that the government of the United States is denying to provide.
We know that just the Native American people, in the States, there's a lot of history and a lot that was done. But it's interesting when you're talking about the whole idea of Mother Earth. Here you are, a woman, you're a journalist. Mm-hmm. It seems like the culture knew about the whole energy of the divine feminine and having so much respect to the women. I imagine this is something, that for you're holding on to, and that projects you forward in what you're doing with your life as well.
Yeah, spirituality is very important. I am not personally involved in Native American ceremonies and traditions. I live here, and I had to adjust to my surroundings. But the Pachamama is very important. Pachamama, the literal translation is Mother Earth.
Also, explain a little bit more about the belief in coming from the star people, and also the beliefs are even predating the 10,000 years ago that we know through science that the Bering Strait was one big ice mass.
Okay. So basically in our traditions, we pass on knowledge through storytelling, through legends, through prayers. So what our elders are sharing with us, and what they told me, is that in the beginning of time, where the Big Bang existed, then the energy, the female energy and the male energy enter through two different doors, the female and the male door. And sometimes we call it the moon, and sometimes we call it the sun. And in my walking on planet Earth, I encountered a lot of spiritual people that face the same concept, dated like thousands and thousands of years ago. So they have built some sort of home to honor the mother moon and the father sun.
I imagine that it seems like there are some similarities between Jewish practices and what your brother is talking about. Not even necessarily the same rituals, but still the importance of the washing of the hands, the importance of, even weddings are conducted, I guess, in a similar way. Explain the wedding process and how, it uses a lot of the same beliefs.
Like our wedding process.
Yeah, like you get married with covered with in a teepee, correct?
Right. Well, like some ceremonies are conducted in teepees, and some ceremonies are conducted under the stars. Basically, it's the same concept, but it's the protection of a prayer. Like the teepee represents a family, a woman. We are inside of a woman. It's a skirt. That's what it represents. The teepee, it's a female energy. So we men are always in this transition of trying to get aligned or achieve the spiritual energy that the female has.
You feel, raising, your mother's Jewish,
Yeah.
you're living in Israel, you have 2 kids growing up in Israel. Do you feel that there are, there are some similarities when we're seeing, practices like this, how weddings are done? The Jewish culture goes by the lunar calendar. We have Rosh Chodesh. We have very special, the moon represents Malchut in spirituality, which is Mother Earth, according to Kabbalah. Explain your thoughts on that.
Just that rituals are rituals for a reason. They are meant to instill some kind of, I guess, order and also guidance. And I mean, there are similarities. I think that the wedding was a very good example. I saw my brother very much not just, he didn't feel forced or have to adapt, but it was just natural. Any culture, I guess any culture at a wedding, it's just natural to that the celebration is this union of 2 people, male or female, 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 male, male.
Talk about what you have here. I know that you also design beautiful jewelry, so explain what you have here on this table.
So what I have on the table, the main flag of our nation, of the Quechua nation, and many native nations of the South, it's called Wipala. That represents all the colors of the human clans, like the Asian people is the yellow, the white for the white people, we have the black for the black people, we have the purple and the red for the red men, and so on and so forth. And then we incorporate all the elements, like birds, plants, and sky, and then the spiritual side. So all these colors, it represents every one of us, everything, the rocks and everything around us, that we are united, that we are one thing. One without the other would not be able to exist. So, and then on this, on top of the Wipala, I have some of my work, and this is how I make my living. I make my living by making jewelry, by crafting my beliefs, and what connects me, in this case, for instance, is the eagle dancer, that is eagle people of the north. And then and then on these I have the eagle feather represented also by turquoise, that represents the sky and the water. So these elements, this instrument that I've been using, and this one belongs to my son, and they were taught to me by Diné people, by Diné nation, to pray, to keep praying, to keep sharing. And this is something that I carry all the time. It is my white eagle feather. And
that means you respect the eagle.
Yes,
you just tipped your hat to the eagle feather.
Yes, because this feather, I use it for prayers and to help people out. We are able to help some families and relatives. We call them relatives, all the humankind. So we try to help as many people as we can by using this eagle feather, and we pray with this. And we are told by our elders, every time an eagle feather is outside, you're supposed to talk the truth of your heart. You can't lie. You can make things up, and you have to be as honest as you can, because in the Lakota language they call it Kanshila. He's watching over you, and he will take care of you as long as you tell the truth.
Wow.
So
what beautiful! It's just a beautiful way of life, and I'm just so happy to have this opportunity to meet you. And I think it's just so great to experience these times that we're in, and to see the Native people from all over the world, being heard and recognized for such deeply held beliefs that unfortunately have had to go through a lot over the past few centuries. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your journey, and thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
I would like to say a prayer before we go. Just
Yes,
it's
let's
a quick
do it.
prayer
Yes.
for our journey and
Thank you.
to share some of the vibration that we've been carrying for many years, and that's kind of help a lot of the communities around in the Americas.
Do it.
Wow.
Incredible.
Ooh, I felt that vibration. Did you feel that?
Yes.
Wow. This whole studio is pulsating. Thank you so much, Rudy. You
much
were
blessing.
such a light, and really, it was such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we're
you for
very,
having us.
very lucky to have you come here and bless this land. We
Thank
need
you.
we need all the help we could get.
Yes.